Hi, April from Piano Lessons Info here, and today we are talking about how to use the piano pedal. So we're going to talk both about the quiet pedal and the damper pedal, okay, or the sustain pedal. Same thing, different name. All right, so we're going to just deal with the quiet pedal first because that's pretty easy. So the quiet pedal, which is the one on the left, it is for making things extra quiet if you need to. So for classical piano, if you see usually a double P sign, a dynamic sign, which is pianissimo, you can start using it at that point. And if you see a triple P, which is very difficult to try to get that quiet, it's a great spot to use the quiet pedal. So quiet pedals are usually only on big real pianos or grand pianos, and it is sometimes on a digital piano. I've got one on mine, but I find it doesn't quite work as well just because we've got a volume level on the piano. So you can't quite achieve the same dynamics as you can otherwise. So basically how you use a quiet pedal is you press it down when you press it down when you need to be quiet and super quiet, and you lift it up when you don't need to. That's all. It's very simple, that one. Okay, so you don't really need it on a keyboard. You do sometimes need it on a piano, and usually it's when you're told to be very quiet. You have to be quiet. Okay, so that's that one. But the damper pedal or sustain pedal, which joins all our notes together, that's different. Okay, you can't just keep this one down or it'll make things sound terrible. So it's holding all sorts of notes from all sorts of chords, which is what I just played, and does not sound nice. So you do need some different ways of using this one. Okay, so let's start at the very basics. So when you play, no matter if you have a keyboard pedal which plugs in the back of your keyboard, you've got a real piano pedal, anything, you need to keep your heel down to play this one. Okay, so the heel stays on the floor and the front of your foot goes up and down when you need to change it. Okay, so that is the first thing. So lots of times when I do have people come and take lessons and they're not keeping their heel down, and it's good to learn this from the very beginning so you don't run into that habit, because it just gives you more control. So you keep your heel down and you lift the front of your foot when you need to. If you find you have an issue with your keyboard and your pedal is sliding away, you just got to try to find a way to keep it in place so that you can do that. And sometimes I know you have to reach forward with your toes and bring it back, but that's just what you got to do sometimes. But you can either put something that kind of sticks it to the floor easier on the bottom, or stick something heavy in front of it, whatever you need to do to keep it in place so that you can keep your heel in place so you have your correct piano posture. Okay, so that's step one. All right. So I'm going to now teach more on this using the chord progression C, F, A minor, G, okay, because it's good for a teaching pedal because we've got different harmonies that shouldn't really go together. So the first step is when you play a chord, the first thing you play, you can just put your pedal down at the same time you put your fingers down. Okay, so I'm going to change my chord. I'm going to play the F chord. So basically what you need to do is you play the notes of the chord or whatever you're trying to play, and then as soon as you play the chord, your foot goes up and down. Okay, then we're going to go to A minor, up and down on your pedal, and I'm going to go to G, up and down. Okay, so C, up, down, F, A minor, G. So you don't want to carry the notes in from the chord before, but you want to hold the notes from the chord that you're playing now. If you have, if you want to play something slower, and you've got lots of notes, if they're all from the same chord, you can keep the pedal down unless it starts to sound blurry. So if we are just playing the C chord, which has C, E, G, anywhere on the piano, you can just hold it down. If we start adding in little embellishments or stuff like that, if you keep it down the whole time, it'll start holding too many of those notes and you'll need to change it sometimes. But you can just do that when it sounds like it. So whenever. So that's a whenever. But if you're playing a slow song, and we're playing C, we're going to go to F. We're going to try to change it as soon as possible after playing the first notes of the next chord if they're broken. Then G, change it really fast, and change the order of my chords. That's okay. Okay, so basically that's what you do. Play the new thing up and down really fast with your foot. That's how it goes. Okay, so playing classically is different. You use the pedal. Sometimes you've got markings. When you're first learning, you'll see a line and it'll have a little triangle that goes up and down and keep going up and down, and so you use it there. But you want to use it just after, the point is playing just after you're playing your kind of new grouping of harmonies, and then the next one. So if you're playing it's a bit difficult to explain without giving you actual music, but you just, in the beginning you learn, and you can also just do it by ear. So it's good to work with a teacher on this section, actually. Okay, so here are some things to watch out for if you are playing with the pedal. Watch out for when it sounds blurry, so just adding all sorts of notes and just gets a bit much. You're just holding too much. So just change it anytime, and that's okay. You just be quick about it and try to find a spot that'll work. Okay. The other thing to watch out for is not lifting it high enough. So sometimes people are finding they're playing, but they're not quite lifting it fully. So you got to get all the way up and down. Okay, that's another thing. Not keeping your heel down. I talked about that one. And the other thing, you listen for breaks in the music, and that will tell you if you're not doing it correctly. So if we've got a C and we lift everything to play the F chord and then put it down, lift everything to play the G chord and then put it down. You want to, if you're first learning, it can be hard, but that's not what you want in the end. You want it to play your notes and then just let your foot go super fast like that. Okay, so that's the other thing. And if it just sounds like there's too many notes, change your pedal. That's all. And lots of melody notes. If you're playing lots of melody, you'll want to change it more, because sometimes you have a C chord for a long time, for example, but there's lots of different notes. So it just sounds too much, so you want to change it more often, and you can change it whenever it sounds like it. So we're on C, change, still on the same chord, so that's okay. All right, so a bit of a long video this time, but I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions. I think I covered all the major trouble spots I see, and so I will see you next time. Okay, bye.